Knowingly killing over 100 million animals annually in cosmetic testing is not only inhumane, but it is unnecessary. Much of the research and tests done on the animals is not reliable and therefore cannot be used according to PETA 2018. This has been the case especially in the cosmetic industry, where aesthetic value rather than necessity is at the core of the industry. Since information about the unnecessarily cruel practice of animal testing is public knowledge, many activist groups have targeted the industry to pressure companies into stopping practices that are unacceptable. These animals are bred for research, and scientists purchase them from animal breeders. The most common animals that are used are mice, rats, rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, cats, dogs, birds, and non-human primates such as monkeys, and even some farm animals. The United States spends $16 billion annually for animal testing at taxpayers' expense and is subject to massive waste and mismanagement of taxpayers' dollars. Much of this cruelty is supported by the National Institutes of Health, which allocates 40% of its annual research budget to animal experiments. Unlike the US, the UK banned animal testing in cosmetics in 1998. Animal testing has been around since 1938, when the United States Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act required more safety in cosmetic products, which compelled more companies to move towards testing on animals. Ever since then, there has been people and laws put in place to try to regulate the hidden world of animal testing. In 2000, the Interagency Coordination Committee on the Validation of Alternative Methods Authorization Act was signed and put into place. This law is supposed to be an effort, not a solution, which is poorly enforced to evaluate and adopt alternative methods. Animal testing is not needed because there are many alternatives available that do not require putting the animals through the pain and suffering. Independent scientific reviews demonstrate that research using animals correlates very poorly to human reactions. Animal studies fail to predict human outcomes in 50 to 97.7% of the time, according to the Humane Society International of 2018. This is due to the fact that animals do not suffer the same diseases as humans, so their reactions are different. Humans can volunteer to be the test subjects and receive a one-time dose of a drug and have the scientists monitor their brain to see how it reacts. There are tests that use human blood to test for fevers, which would save hundreds of thousands of rabbits from pyrogen tests. A pyrogen test is a foreign substance that causes a fever in an animal's body. In addition, companies have developed synthetic human skin which saves the animals from being shaved and tested on. There are tests in which dead chicken eyes from poultry farms can be used instead of testing on a live rabbit or what would be your childhood dog. The 3T3 neutral red uptake phototoxicity test would save the mice that are tested on. A combination of in vitro methods, which are chips that contain human cells, are already available data that can be used instead of the testing done on guinea pigs and mice. The testing on fish can be reduced by 70% using the fish threshold method. These and other non-animal methods are not hindered by species differences that make applying animal test results to humans difficult or impossible, and they usually take less time and money to complete according to PETA 2018. Many of the cosmetic companies want their customers to think they are cruelty-free when in fact they are not. If the makeup company decides to sell their products in China, it is China's law, it is mandatory that all foreign brands get tested on. Benefit, Clinique, Estee Lauder, Makeup Forever, and Maybelline are just a few of the many brands that still test on animals, according to PETA 2016. They may not test on animals in the United States, but if they distribute to China, then they do, due to the profit. Aveda, Tarte Cosmetics, The Body Shop, Kat Von D Beauty, Lush, Wet n Wild are in fact cruelty-free, according to PETA 2016. Since this information is almost 3 years old, it is not certain whether or not it is still true. Finding accurate facts about cruelty-free or not is never just black and white. There are websites and sources that will say brands are cruelty-free and others who dispute it. The animals are exposed to drugs, chemicals, and infectious diseases. They get shaved and products get tested on them to see if they'll be safe for humans. They endure genetic manipulation, are in cages without food or water, and get restrained. They are wounded and burned by the scientists to see how they will heal. And finally are forced to go through all this pain and stress with no hope of it ending, until they die or are finally killed by carbon dioxide asphyxiation, neck breaking, or decapitation, according to PETA 2018. While going through these tests, there is no remorse or mercy for these animals. If one is too weak, they simply choose another animal for the testing. Rabbits, guinea pigs, mice, and rats are routinely injected, gassed, force-fed, and killed for cosmetic testing around the world. We believe this is ethically unacceptable and unnecessary, according to Cruelty Free International. Animal testing in cosmetics should not be permitted. It is painful and lethal to the animals. They get their furs shaved, eyes gouged out, and the chemicals get put into their eyes, let alone the emotional and physical stress they endure. Due to all the alternatives that there are, the only other motive for animal testing is the cost. It is simply cheaper for companies to test on animals rather than do it the moral way and use the alternatives. If we the people would not go through what the animals go through for us, then it is not worth it. Wearing makeup is not a necessity, especially since there are brands that are cruelty-free. In order for animal testing in the cosmetics industry to be resolved or stopped and actually regulated, the government needs to step in and make more laws to save the animals. The companies should be forced to use the alternatives no matter the cost and put the animals' lives first before the cosmetics.